Oh, how you doing, everybody? I lost my Bluetooth for a while on my computer, and so I finally got it back. So here I am. Hey, Blake and Donald, how you doing? And Stefan. Hey, Mark. In. How are you? Oh, Mark, you're finally with us at a decent time for you back out in Washington there. Oh boy. This morning, I today's been one of those really busy days. I have on my Seiko 5, so I've been doing something very I've been working on my Husqvarna mower. I've had that thing for God, I don't know, 15, 16 years, something like that. And every year I just hope that it makes it through another year. Well, this time it didn't start, and so I had to do some work on it and got it started. Everything's fine with that. So anyhow, if I'm a little discombobulated, that's why. But now everything's working, so things are looking good. Oh, hey, Mark and Val and Ian and Deacon and hi, Nick, Joseph. How are you? Um, Anywho, what I thought would be a good topic today. We've been talking about um, what would be important for the whole idea of a high horology as far as collectors were concerned. Hi, Clyde. How you doing, man? And so the um, Val, with watches like food, good products plus good cook plus good products plus bad cook plus bad products plus good cook. Okay, that's some equation you got there, Val. Um, what I was thinking about. I'll see if I have a picture of it. I don't think so. The thing that I was looking at. Uh, Rolf Lang had sent me a picture of one of his one of his watches that he had done all of this really incredible engraving work on. And I was looking at it. I said, now to me that's craftsmanship, and I I don't want to be saying, okay, well, we could make it as vague as possible by saying good craftsmanship is good craftsmanship, right? But and trying to figure out what it is with high horology, the foundation, the high horology, high horology, they put it all into finishing, and of course, I'm all for finishing. But it's another thing. Well, you can do that with a machine and crank it out. And some of the guys that are usually here, like Eddie, who's not here right now, I saw one of Eddie's thing. I couldn't believe it. He put his watch together, and I guess using files from his cello or something like that, and really did a beautiful job. And this other guy that I met. At our Rolex AD in West Hartford, he showed me his class project. This is a class project from the Rolex school, and I was like, "Holy smoke, this is really good." But I guess the hard part is the where you have good craftsmanship in terms of making a movement, decorating a movement, engraving a movement, or sort of some combination that brings everything together. So that was what I wanted to talk about. I have some examples here. Um, when I talked to this watchmaker that I know, he he looked at these FP Journes and said, "Boy, they have a certain kind of craftsmanship. Let's see if I can use my magnifying glass to get closer." Uh, I don't know, maybe. Um, the and so what I and then you have something like this. Okay, this is very clear, very un let's say very Spartan, almost sort of a Bauhaus craftsmanship, but clearly there is craftsmanship in what Richard Harbring does, and and looking at closely at this, you find the same thing in your Mosers, and you find the same thing in Beauvais. This to me is the ideal ratio. Or that was something else we talked about last time, of the ratio of the size of the movement to the size of the case. And here's one that it's almost a perfect fit, or as perfect a fit as you're going to find. So I guess all of this comes under craftsmanship, but to say, okay, this is what we want to see in craftsmanship. So let's talk about that. What you guys have. Um, all right. A Gosser War in Kühlschrank. Stefan, I'm fluent in German, but not Austrian, so I didn't understand what you just said. Hey Sam, how you doing, man? Blake, Raj, hi Raj. Orange top with black beret. Happy Halloween, Raj. Um, the fashion police breaking down my door. I said I had on my I had to get up early this morning for the if you're over 40, they let you in early, and I just made it. So I was out early this morning grocery shopping with a mask on. This morning I had a red nose because of the mask I had to wear. And then I've been working on my my motorcycle, on my Husqvarna mower. And so I'm just like, it's hard to get this fashion together in time, but I did it, I think. Okay, is voided by a watch that is poor timekeeper. That's an interesting point. Here you have if you don't have good timekeeping, when talking about horology, how can you have good craftsmanship? I'll put it that way. Val just wants a beer. Okay. See, I'm glad you translated that Austrian for me. Hey, Kaz, how you doing? You just had a rough life. Okay, welcome to the club. Hey, dog. I think watch craftsmanship has become better over the years since there are other ways of more accurately telling time. It seems like craftsmanship is more important than ever. I agree, Sam. That's a good point. I think it's like, otherwise, what are we paying for? If we got a smart watch from an Apple Watch or something, and they have the thing tagged into an atomic clock on the North Pole, and we can look at our watch and know exactly the right time. And so instead we have, well, I don't think we have Seiko 5s. Let me change watches for a second here, see which one is running today. We have all these different watches that we have, and this thing is never going to be as accurate as a smartwatch. And do I care? No. If this thing was as accurate as a smartwatch or even a quartz, I wouldn't trust it. What's going on? They snuck something in there. I don't know. They have giving the hamster on the running wheel steroids. It's a very difficult thing to say, but Mark, you're right when we talk about having some accuracy. Okay, with really good craftsmanship leads to at some point not only the craftsmanship, the visual craftsmanship that we can see in the enlage and we can see in the perlage and the Geneva waves and so forth. But that's just finishing. And the other part is how well they get it. Somebody had a picture of a Dufour Simplicity on High Horology Lounge today. Man, I was looking at that thing, and that just beautiful answer to that. And looking at the the Canaletto and looking at this one right here that we were talking about, there's simplicity there, and I think that there's simplicity here too, but there's also craftsmanship, and so it's sort of like, well, how do we tell? Hey, underachiever, how you doing? How accurate is accurate enough? It's got the right season for me. That's accurate enough. Let's see, one constellation of the C19 outbreak. Huh. That's an interesting point. You know, Raj, I think that a lot of innovation may come out of this. You're right. Hey, Blake, how's it going? What are your thoughts on the new Chapek? New movement is on the way. I tell you, by and large, I think Chapek is a watch that has craftsmanship all the way through it. I really like Chapeks a lot. Any watch, this is what, I don't know. How many of you have a magnifying glass? This is I don't know, I think I got this on Amazon or something. It's not an expensive one, but it's a quick way to look at a lot of watch. The same thing with, with a loop. They got a kick out of the loop because F.P. Jordan carries one in his pocket like, somebody would carry a spare glasses or something. He whips that thing out and takes a look at things. I don't know. There's so many elements of craftsmanship. Not to say that timekeeping is unimportant. In fact, that's one of the things I was talking about someone today. We were talking about Mosers, and who was it? I think they were talking about Laurent Ferrier, and they said, "Oh, Laurent Ferrier uses Moser movements, not movements, but hairsprings." Which is all of the tip-top watchmakers do have that hairspring. It's sort of like, well, we need a hairspring, and they sell, like what, 1,200 watches and 40,000 hairsprings. There's something about that that's important. I wonder if, I was trying to think. I think Agenhor made something too for Parmigiani. I was looking at some stuff that they had done, and you see his stuff, in different places, and he doesn't have the kind of craftsmanship that I think of when I look at a really beautiful finished watch, something like this. I don't think of Agenhor having that, but instead another kind of craftsmanship that does things in really fascinating ways. The simplicity of his retrograde is unbelievable, but it's one, if you find the top retrogrades are using retrogrades by Agenhor. And this one right here, I mean, this is a wonderfully simple watch that I like, and it only really has Well, it has three movements: the 2 hours, and then the minute hand. Well, the minute is done, or minutes, I guess, and an hour are those are retrogrades. The thing goes down from 0 to 60 and then pops back up again. But to me, that's a different kind of craftsmanship, and I suppose the in looking at his things that he is able to do, look at the Agongrat, or close as I can get to saying it correctly. Here's a chronograph movement that he made that's different, totally different than all of the previous ones. And who's that guy, Oshin or something like that, Dr. Oshin? He makes a perpetual calendar with 9 parts. All right, took Patek Philippe 200 and something parts, and this guy did it in 9 parts. And the point about that is there's a certain craftsmanship. Now, if you look at the watches that come out of his company, they probably are not the most attractive watches. To me, they look like they're wooden. Maybe they are, but there's something about them that's special. Okay. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Okay. What about Crador watches? Blake, I'm going to be working on Crador. I want to have something about them, so I'm working on it. I have never done anything on Chopek. I got to do something on Chopek too. I've always liked them. Every time in fact, we always use Chopek as our meeting place at the watch time shows. But I really haven't looked at them in a way to. Hey, level 11, how you doing, man? Decon, how come you have a 0? Hi, Elias, how are you? I think A. Longason has the most beautiful movement craftsmanship, and Vacheron does the best dials, at least for my taste. Sam, you bring up an excellent point, and the point is that both of those I think are true, but I don't know if they're the best. And so, like, all of us have different ideas of what is best, and that's okay. But I think the important thing to see is why other people think they're the best. I don't think that of A. Longa, and I don't think of that as Vacheron Constantin, even though I love Vacheron Constantins. Okay, when I look at something like a FP Journa, if I look at something like Wooten Lannon or a Dufour, look at those watches, man. It's just like our Roger Smith. But A. Longa is really pretty good, and so is Vacheron Constantin. See, this is really funny. Vacheron Constantin is one of my favorite watch companies. I'm not even sure why, and it doesn't matter. But I really like a lot of their watches. On the other hand, I don't think they're the best in a lot of things. When you start looking at these watches that these master craftsmen make, and then you're seeing something, man, there's just a little difference. I can look at my 1921, which has a 40-40, I think is the movement that it has in it. It's hand wound. It's everything I like about it. And I look at the movement, and it looks nice. But I don't know. And there's craftsmanship there. But I guess the level and type of craftsmanship is sort of a like nailing jelly to a tree. And this is why I thought it would be something good that we could talk about. Vacheron, Breguet, A. Longa, AC Blancpain, JLC are my favorite mass production watches. I'm so scared to get an independent because there's no guarantee they'll be around to do their service. It's not that kind of watch collection, Blake, is not for the faint of heart. Period. It's just period. It's like you're going into uncharted territories, and it's a dangerous place to be if you're looking for, gee, I wonder if I can find a watchmaker for it later on. Maybe not. Okay, Fahrenheit, no can do. I'm not on FB. Rats. Okay. A lot of people are not on FB, and I know why, and I don't blame them. There's some crazy stuff going on there. I keep getting these friend requests, and I feel like a curmudgeon or something because I don't accept friend requests because I got hacked. And so all of a sudden, these people started getting messages from me that weren't by me, who were on my friends list. And so I had to go and talk to all the friends and say, hey, that wasn't me. And so I thought, well, I better stop. I'm just, no matter what, no matter who it is. So I quit taking friend requests on Facebook for that reason. But I spent a lot of time there talking about at High Horology Lounge and stuff and other places. And one thing, we have a lot of fun. There are a couple the pretentious watchmakers. I love that fight. I haven't been doing too much there because I'm ashamed to show my face because I'm still one sub-dial away from finishing this one watch. So anyway, but when we get going on this next round, that'll be fun. Let's see. Hey, Edmund, how you doing? Eamon, I'm sorry. Hi, Eamon. Level what is the best is very subjective. Could have said it, but not so. Level 11. No, there's perhaps the way we all should do it is that the one I like best, not the best. I think the reason I get wavy on that is that it changes. Your tastes change. What you like changes, or what you come to know about changes. Right now, I'm on a negotiation that I'm just starting with this one that I don't think any of you have ever heard of or any of you want. And I'm sort of keeping the lid on it in case the bottom falls out, which has happened before. Okay, let's see. Nick J. For some reason, Bill's live stream always does that to me. Does what? What happened? Oh man. Well, I thought. Oh, I've been. My wife and I have been watching Stripes, this old Bill Murray movie. God, is it funny? And it just I'm in sort of a goofy mood. But anyway, let's talk some more about. Kaz Gronfeld. Yeah, that's another. Geez, here are two brothers whose father was a watchmaker, and both of them became watchmakers. And I think F.P. Jorn's son became an airline pilot. Sorry, Dad, I want to go fly planes. I can understand that. Let's see. I'm wearing a Glashütte original today. Mark, don't tell me, Mark in. Don't tell me that you're not wearing your Rolf Lang for the few days you have left, or is it gone already? Okay, ultra thin movement construction takes a much higher level of craftsmanship than most realize. And what a lot of companies do with ultra thin calibers is really impressive. Yeah, Sam, I like the stuff that Piaget has done with that. I agree. That's one of the things I really like. I mean, you have, this is something else too. Let me ask you guys this. What's the difference between really good engineering and really good craftsmanship? The new Saxonia is a nice thin watch. Huh. Yeah, of all of the A Longa, I think there's two of them. One is the 18 something or other, and the other one is the Saxonia ones I like. I like the simplicity. To me, simplicity focuses everything on the movement, the basic movement, and putting other stuff on there um, should be done judiciously, and especially if you don't, like so many people have chronographs they rarely ever use the chronograph function for. That's okay if they're like chronographs, and uh, you know, it sort of gives a watch a sportsy look. But now you take the difference between a chronograph and then a chronograph with an agamgraph chronograph in it. Man, I tell you, that's like night and day. Uh, there's another thing that's weird. I got to get some pictures of this. There's this. I've mentioned this before when we were talking about the UWD 33.1 or 33.2 movement. The one of the few watch companies that uses it made such ugly watches. I mean, they're really hideously bad. I have no idea what they were thinking. And I'm not saying that as, to be mean about it. I wish they had beautiful watches. It would be nice. But they're just ugly. No, okay, so that's my opinion. All right. Understand that. But that's what's amazing about it is that here you have somebody goes, they put together this watch company, they got this really good movement, and then I don't know, where were they with the design department? Some people who are watchmakers think they're good dial designers and they're not. It's the same thing in programming. Man, I tell you, you want to see an ugly website, find one that a programmer did without any help from a graphic artist. And man, there are a dime a dozen. I think the entire Yahoo system is based on that. Okay, I'm getting cranky. I shouldn't be that way. Okay, engineering is design and function. Craftsmanship is execution. That's I don't know. That doesn't sound right, Sam, but that's not a bad try. Let's see what else we can get. I don't know why I keep wanting to buy another Breguet, already own two, but the new collection is so sexy. That's the same reason Kaz buys Chapek. He likes Chapek a lot. Some people like Rolex. Just testing the Geo to see if the strap feels comfortable, or try replacing it. ROD goes back on after okay. Rod. Okay. Hey, Geezer, how you doing? Amen. Okay, let's see. Fahrenheit. 3 Breguets is perfect. Maybe even 4. I want a Breguet. I want the Breguet tradition. Oh, I love that watch. The one that looks like something that Abraham Breguet made. They're really expensive though, and but boy, do I like those. Those are neat watches. Hi, Williams Watches. Hi, Nowshed. How are you? The planning stage in engineering is making the making phase is craftsmanship. I don't know. I have both Sam's and your comment, Stefan. I guess I'm looking for something. I don't know, sort of how you touch it somehow, and I don't know how. The engineering part. Well, to me, for example, I guess I might be called a mathophile because I love math, and some of the most beautiful things you can find are in math. And the simplicity of a math solution for certain problems, which goes into programming and a few other places like that. You can find that in engineering, but then you have the craftsmanship, I guess would be the skill, how you put everything together. How does that sound for, who is it? Sam and I don't know. It's a very elusive thing, but I think it's an important thing. I think craftsmanship still takes an understanding of engineering. I don't know, Sam. I don't know if that's true or not. It may be. An engineer would certainly think so, but a craftsman may not. It's a hard thing. I think probably when we're talking about the horological craftsmanship, that's probably right. But to me, they all require math. I don't know why. I just, like I said, I'm a math file, so I love math. But if I can see a math solution, a simplified math solution of something, it's sort of like to me, I think in terms of algorithms, and an algorithm for a beautiful watch would have engineering and craftsmanship being different elements, part of it. This, I would say, may be I don't know whether this is engineering or craftsmanship or a different expression of both of them together. Nor this one. You have all of these, and I'm not sure. Let's see what you guys are saying. I got nothing but compliments about it. Good for you. There's, I think, somewhere. What about Blanc Pawn? What about Blanc Pawn? They have some interesting watches too. I think the Villeray is the kind of watch I do like, but they also have the, what is that, 50 Fathoms? And that sort of covers a lot of ground. Hey, Tigum, how you doing? There are people whose only job is the bevel and polish parts, that they don't do any engineering of the design work of. Yeah, Tigum, that's a good point. What Tigum's talking about is what they call finishers. And finishing, I was reading this thing that Vacheron Constantin had, and they said that to become a good finisher takes a couple of years to be a good finisher. So somebody, they goes through watchmaking school, they graduate from WOSOP, and then they're working with different things and putting watches together. And then somebody says, hey, we're going to send you to finishing school for a couple of years so you can do the finishing. And so in that context, it's exactly right. They're totally different kind of things in that respect. It's a lot of interesting stuff there that we got to consider. The art is the execution of the engineering. Something along those lines. To me, ultra thin dress watch is a showcase of the ultimate craftsmanship. Okay, I was thinking of that. Well, you're not going to find that in Jacob. I build acoustic musical instruments from scratch, and the craftsmanship in that field who focus on math and engineering make horrible instruments. It's good to have an understanding, but easy to overuse. Okay. Well, that's what I was saying, Sam, about programmers who try to do art without anybody helping them. I mean, they try to have a website that there are a number of different things. For example, if you have a decent website, you need good programming behind it. You need good artwork, and what most of them leave out is good information design. They've got no clue about the information design. Bill, I blame you for getting me into dress watches. You're welcome, Blake. Let's see. It takes a lot of patience. Yeah, that's true. Hey, Geezer, most big houses have Adam Smith specialization structure in their manufacturing process. Only very few houses have watchmakers who can practice multiple disciplines. Who is Adam Smith? I'm not sure who that is. Sorry. You mean Roger Smith, Geezer? Yeah, that I understand. There are very few of those. F.P. Jorn, yeah. In my opinion, craftsmanship has more artistry in their work. Yeah, Mark, that's a good point. To me, there's a type of simplicity, more simplicity in artistry. if you look at Dufour's what's called Simplicity, it's beautifully executed there. You don't have to have, I mean, I like engraving, and the engraving on the balance cock of my, I don't have it here. The engraving that Marco Lang did on the Frederick II, beautiful engraving on that. And I like that. But that's not where the beauty is. The beauty is in the trigonal bridge. And there's a craftsmanship to that too, or the way he put the lined up the Georgs, lined up the gear train in the Georg, just, and like all of these little things. This is why I think of all of the movements that we talked about, I'll probably still want to get the UWD, because of the way that they have those little bell-shaped bridges in there, and each one for I don't know why. I mean, that would be something to look at. And so if you're going to have a back, you want to have something that you can really, that puts on a little show for you. Okay, I sometimes polish the crystal on my watches with a piece of damp cloth. I'm a finisher. Okay, now Fahrenheit 451, first use it on your face, then on your glasses, and then on your watches. you'll have a trifecta. Hey, let's see. Some watchmaker only design movements and maybe assemble some watches, like F.P. Journe, only design and maybe assemble. No, you don't have what F.P. Journe does. And if you take it from the start, here was a guy who made his first tourbillon when he was, really very young, and then he made one of the first resonance watches since I don't know who, and since Breguet, and then the Remontois Egalite. I mean, all of this kind of stuff. Yeah, he's sort of a pretty remarkable watchmaker. But let's say, does he take the Iboche and put them together into the case? I don't know. I doubt it. But he has everything else. That's why Rexhep left Patek for F.P. Journe. Oh, I didn't know Rexhep worked at F.P. Journe. That's interesting. Really interesting. I didn't know that. Economist. Hey, Clyde. I can't stop dreaming about complicated watches and precious metals. Yeah, I know what you mean. Let's see. Hey, Crappy, how you doing? This hobby is getting expensive. Why can't the watches I like be under $5,000? I could have bought a Lamborghini. You could have bought a Lamborghini Cucaracha for that much already with my collection. Yeah, I've thought the same thing. Oh, Blake, man, I tell you, I could have bought that Wraith I want. Why don't they make more complicated watches and precious materials? Is it just that there aren't many complicated watches to begin with? Oh, Sam, one of the most complicated watches around is one with a true Remontois Egalite, okay? And the ones I know about are all in precious metal. Now, if you're talking about, yet another chronograph or something like that, you usually see, for the most part, you see some variation on the one that's from El Primero or Dupraz or something like that, some chronograph element of that. But rarely do you see one like the Augengraph. That's totally different. Now, it doesn't matter what they do it in. They do it. Here, this one has the The wheels and a lot of things are, and the plates are all in gold. I don't know how that makes it any better than this one that's all steel and brass. Um, this one is another one. I think the wheels are gold, the balance is gold, and so forth. And then that the Lang that the Lang and Heine have that big old diamond sitting on top of the balance, like that's sort of hidden bling. And here's something. This is they've been making the same model, the same simple model of this since about 1963 of my Seiko 5. I don't know. There are all kinds of things like that. The big thing, and I think in a way, Blake, you brought it up. Why is it so expensive? Well, if we're dealing with real craftsmanship, that's expensive because it takes a special skill. This is why I've got this 84-year-old Portuguese watchmaker. Um, there's some kind of almost, I don't know, magical skill in somebody like that. There's not the person who just graduated from WOSOP with a calculator and so forth. They have certain skills and they're way beyond anything I've got, but they don't have what this other guy has. And here's a guy that times watches perfectly without using a time grapher. I don't know how he does it, but it was sort of like, I don't need no stinking time grapher. You've got a guy that's like that. Those are the most fun kinds of people to find. H. Moser has a Rolls Royce edition. Get that instead of the Rolls Royce Wraith. Val, that's funny because I did in a way. When I got this watch which was really the watch I was meant to have. This one, when I got my brown Endeavor 7-day, it started off with the Rolls Royce one. This guy in Switzerland and I had a deal we set up back in August of 2019. Told him, well, I'm going to have to save up for it. Now, as soon as I have everything saved, I'll get back in touch with you. Well, when I got back in touch with him, his whole business was in real trouble. And this is before the quarantine. He was in trouble before that. And I'd bought watches from before with great prices. So, there you have contingencies. But that one is, that I like that. They only made 77 of them. And I think they have 3 different kind. And the one I wanted was it was a small second at 6 o'clock, but I like the center second better. So, that's another funny thing about watch collection. You end up with something you had no idea that was what you would end up with, and it turns out to be the right thing somehow. I don't know. I think No Shit is talking about FP's the man himself involvement in actual production. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Hey, Blake, that's it. I'll just blame you for my collection. It's my fault. Okay. Well, Blake, we gotta watch our language, but thank you. It's a nice compliment. Okay, as a master watchmaker of his brand, not the only watchmaker. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's like, yeah, sure. Henry Ford was never out on the assembly line making Model Ts either. Oh, back in January, Mark. This one I got in January. In fact, this is from the one I sent you a thing on. This is where I got it, and supposedly they had advertised another one for sale and said it was gone. So they probably had set up their advertising ahead of time. My favorite press are the thin Vacherons. I like the reference from the modern line, but I also like 6099. Man, you're talking. Come on, Sam, help us out here. What's the name? What is the common name? They have what, Easter eggs and all of these different kind of lines. You sound like a Never mind. Okay, what's going on here? Um, Hi, NS something. We thought you were here, NS something, so not to worry. I didn't know anything about movements or finish until, yeah, I get a lot of people, they just blame me and their wife is coming down, lowering the boom. Okay, holy smoke. Man, I went way over today. Sorry about that. Well, listen, guys, thank you all for coming and let's find let's think about this because I think it's an interesting kind of thing. The reason I think it's interesting, we shouldn't be paying a lot of money for watches that don't have something special about them. This goes back in a way, I guess, to Blake's point. Why do they cost so much money? If there's no craftsmanship in it, you know, why isn't there? And then of course we got the whole issue of nailing what craftsmanship is. Okay, guys, listen, take care and be safe and hasta mañana.